Hello, guys. Welcome back. Welcome, and thank you to absolutely everybody in the house. I'm trying to speak like John Barilla, and the house is full again this evening. And let's look at the importance of branding. Welcome, Red.
Hi, how you doing? Good to be here once again with you, Comfort, and Jeffrey, and of course, the man himself, Mr. Numbers, Andy Burks.
Yes, yes. Welcome, Jeffrey.
Hello. Good day to you. Good to see all of you guys here. Loving it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So, Mr. Burks, how are you doing?
Happy Monday. Oh,
Oh.
hold on. I've lost a few days.
No, today's not Monday. Please don't take me back there. So, Red, if you wouldn't mind, why not start telling us maybe what branding is all about from your own perspective? And let's see, why is it important to brand ourselves or business?
Yeah, I mean, branding is arguably one of the organization's most important assets that you possibly have. It gives you identity, makes your business model memorable, encourages consumers to buy from you, and supports your marketing and advertising, and obviously brings a lot of pride as well to not only the employees but also to the customers. And we could talk actually at length more and more about branding, the different aspects of it and all the rest of it. I'm going to focus branding on logos, and that's the route I'm going to go down today. And really the importance of why logo branding, in my opinion, really is the 21st century branding out there at the moment. Why? Because many polls have been done with kids at school, and how do they determine whether somebody's branding is working? Well, all they do is they put a picture of a logo on a sheet. They ask the class, what company is this? And the kids tell them. Now that is branding at its absolute best, because just a logo has that memorable connotation of the products to that logo, and people remember it. You only have to look at Coca-Cola, McDonald's, just to name a few, Apple, X now as well, Tesla, any car manufacturer has its own logos, and Onpassive is absolutely no different. We have been pumping out for at least 3 years now the colourful globe of Onpassive out to the world. This is our trademark logo that people recognise as Onpassive. This is going to be the backbone of the company. This is what people will recognise. And obviously, as far as product location is concerned, then each of our products will have its own logo to identify that product within the Onpassive brand. So branding, as far as logos is concerned, for me, really is the number one important part of any branding and marketing that any company is going to do. Yes, of course, you have to advertise. Yes, of course, you have to get the name out there. Yes, of course, you have to be very specific with the targeting that you're going to be doing to get your brand into the eye and ear of the consumer, so that they are going to at least take a look at what you have to offer. That is the whole idea of any type of branding. But with logos, you've got to get that right, because if it's a logo that people don't recognize or remember, then that kind of branding is not going to work. I'll leave it at that for now. Back to you, Comfort.
Oh, wow. I was not expecting that much, but that's how much I'm learning. Thank you, Red. So over to you, Jeffrey.
Oh, I like the idea that you went with the logo, because I think that as we get going, Onpassive, excels at what they've done. But right out of the gate, kind of understanding product marketing, specifically branding, for those that don't know, is a process of creating and promoting a unique and as you said just a little bit ago, Red, a distinct identity for a product or a service, and this involves developing a brand strategy, its messaging, and as you had indicated, visual identity that resonates with whatever the target audience is. Obviously, with us, it's our target audience. Some of the most well-known brands, Apple, Saudi Aramco, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet by extension, I guess, Facebook, Berkshire Hathaway. I mean, there's tons of them that when you see them, Tesla, you see that logo, bang, you know what that company is. You don't need any words, right? And these brands, as well as Onpassive, all of us are capitalizing on their growth and the through the growth, but it's being capitalized obviously on the brand recognition as well. And that, in a sense, is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Additionally, there's companies like NVIDIA that use their brand as well as the line of growth, or their expansion and growth lines. I remember a few years ago when I was really heavy into Bitcoin mining, NVIDIA was a sound card. It was a graphics card for computers, but it was so powerful that we used it as a power horse to mine Bitcoin. I mean, that's how powerful it was. So they made a few tweaks and bang, they went from being just a graphics card in a computer for gamers to a world blockchain industry for mining. It was absolutely huge, huge, huge. And the effectiveness of brands is actually measured through the metrics of brand awareness, which is something you alluded to also. It's also measured through customer loyalty and sales and things like that. And good, strong branding helps companies to build trust. They differentiate themselves through what they do, and they create lasting impressions. And that's the whole purpose behind the branding, is to impact future success and growth. And as companies adapt to changing customer preferences, we all know how fast the IT and AI industries are changing and growing. So we got to stay on top of it, right? And as long as we can adapt to these customer preferences and market trends, branding is an essential element for building and maintaining strong reputations and customer relationships, and it's crucial for our success. So I'm going to kind of let that go right there for now, and I'll wait for you to swing back around and we'll talk some more.
Yeah, sure. So I'm just excited. Mr. Burks, what do you have to add to this? Thank you.
Well, I'll add a couple more points that I think are quite interesting. Obviously, we all know that we've been doing lots of this branding, particularly in Dubai, in the UAE, where everything has got Onpassive here, there, and everywhere. We've got the station, and we're in the shopping malls, etc., and the ice rink. But when you've got brand awareness, you've got this positive word of mouth. Yeah, so you're going to get customers just through word of mouth, because all of you seen that, and you know, it all kind of stems from that. But then you've got this far higher effectiveness from the advertising, from the marketing that's being done, because they go, oh yes, I know that one. And like Red said, if you've got a logo that sticks out, that's different from everything else, then you're going to pick up customers. But I like the fact that you're going to get an awful lot of business just through word of mouth marketing, because of the branding that's been done, particularly in the UAE. And I have no doubt that you know, the customers that we've taken on since the World Cup have really come through the branding that's been going on in the United Arab Emirates and the word of mouth. Or you should have seen this. You know, we have these laser shows going up the Burj Khalifa, and tourists have gone over, come back to or gone back to their own country, and their friends are showing them this. Look at this laser show; it's fantastic. Onpassive, what's that? Let's have a look. You know, so yeah, those 2 points I think are quite interesting to add.
Right. Okay, Red, earlier on you said one of the good things about branding is that it stands out like your identity. So I'm wondering, Onpassive is a company and a business. On the one hand, we are early bird affiliates, and on the other hand, we are customers. So even though we're customers, it's our business too, because we're here for business. So Ash has been branding since 2022. Do we need like Comfort brand yourself, Red brand himself and stuff, or we just fall under Onpassive and all that Ash is doing?
As far as branding yourself is concerned, it certainly won't do you any harm. Why? Because you are giving your identity out there under the umbrella of the Onpassive brand of products and services. And if you are considered a trustworthy person because that's how you've been branding yourself, as a knowledgeable party in Onpassive of the products and services, of how to use them and all the rest of it, then of course it's going to benefit you more than somebody they don't know. That is natural branding as far as people is concerned. You'll see it wherever you go in life. People tend to buy off people they have an association with, people they recognize, people they feel comfortable with, because they like to have that association. Now, look, you don't have to go far from why people want to be associated with some brands. Look at the queues round the block that Apple have when a new iPhone comes out. Why is there a queue round the block for the new iPhone when they've probably got an iPhone already in their pocket that they're taking pictures of the queue around the block? There's nothing wrong with their iPhone, but the association that they have with that brand of having the latest model from that company makes them feel really good about themselves. Now, if you can get your business or yourself into a position where people want to buy from you because they trust it, they trust what you are doing and the brand behind it, then you really are on a winner. Let me just give you a quote now from a guy called Neil Parker, and he said a good net definition of brand strategy is the considered intent for the positive role a company wants to play in the lives of the people it serves and the communities around it. Now, if you can nail that within your business, where the perception of the customer is that if I have this brand, not only is it good for me, it's going to help people around me and all the rest of it, then you know that you are definitely on the right track. Now, you only have to look at what Onpassive is. You don't have to look far. Just go to onpassive.com and look at the tab at the top that says About Us. That will give you all of the information about what Onpassive is trying to do as a business, not only with the artificial intelligence, the products, the services, the solutions that we are designing for everybody. But if you put that into perspective of what I've just talked about, of the positive impact that our products and services are going to have on the communities and individuals around it, then people will want to buy our products, not only because they are good, they are serviceable, they help businesses, they help individuals, but also because it's going to help communities, the environment, all the rest of it. Then you know that your branding has worked. And it is very important that you have things in tandem. You can do all the branding you like in the world, But if your products aren't stacking up to what the hype of the branding is and what they are trying to achieve, it lasts a nanosecond. People will disregard it, they'll move on, and they'll be looking at another brand. You only have to look at the evolvement of mobile phones. You only have to look at the evolvements of how we watch movies. Now, Blockbuster were a well-known brand, if you remember, not that long ago. They had cornered the market. But where are they now? Netflix, Disney, and Prime, all of these companies have come along and they have taken over what Blockbuster was. There was nothing wrong with the brand, but what happened was the product that they were supplying didn't keep up with what people and consumers were wanting. You've got to get both of those right. If one doesn't stack up to the other, then people move on and they will find themselves another brand. But going back round to what you were saying, Comfort, about is this a good time to brand yourself? I firmly believe that under the umbrella of Onpassive, who have branded massively their logo, their products, what they are trying to achieve. Obviously, each individual product we have has its own logo and branding. But under that logo of Onpassive, if you are marketing yourself out there as a trustworthy representative of Onpassive, when it comes for people looking around at Onpassive to have somebody who knows a little bit more on them about it, what Onpassive can do, the products and services, they are obviously going to migrate towards you for that advice and or even buy from you, which is really what we are all here as affiliates in this business to do, is to resell the products and services of Onpassive through our own referral links. Back to you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Red. So, Jeffrey, I don't know, do you want to comment on a few things Red has said, or do you have something new?
Well, yeah, I think he's on to something here. You know, when you talk about users and customers and how we can take advantage of the strong company branding, and then on the other side of that, there's how exactly does Onpassive do its branding? So, but I'm going to stick with I think your immediate topic there. Strong branding, strong company branding offers advantages for the users or the customers, right? I mean, it's something that we can sink our teeth into and use to our advantage. When you look at like the branding of Onpassive, we know it's powerful, right? We're using their trust and their credibility. Strong branding can actually build trust and credibility with users, making them a lot more likely to continue using the products. There's also consistency, which is the consistency in branding, which we've also seen with Onpassive across the products and marketing materials and everything that we've seen. It helps us not only recognize and remember the company, but being familiar with it causes us to also become a little more loyal to it. Emotional connection. You talked about that. Actually, Red, you said owning the latest iPhone makes people feel good about themselves. Amen. Absolutely. And that's effective, right? Effective branding can create that emotional connection, if you will, with users, making them a lot more likely to engage with the company and its products. Obviously, there's quality assurance. Onpassive is big on that, where we can see that customers or users in particular see a well-branded company as more reliable, as committed to quality, which we can use. That'll influence our decision-making in purchasing and things of that nature, going after using or subscribing to the products. There's also community and support that we feel. Strong branding in this sense can create, like you see in Onpassive with how many platforms we've got, a community among users, and this also fosters loyalty. And it also brings out and fosters, like you were talking about earlier, Andy, when you start talking about the word of mouth promotion, which is obviously, I mean, that is key to what we've been doing and what Onpassive is doing. Clarity and communication, that within the branding helps us understand our values, the mission, product offerings. It makes it a lot easier for customers to understand and to make informed decisions about, are they going to use the company? Are they going to use the products when the communication we're putting out is clear? There's also the innovation and excitement. I mean, who doesn't jump for joy when we see the electronic extravaganza coming across the Dubai, right? Across the Burj Khalifa. Users associate this type of a strong branding with a lot of innovation and excitement and new trends and cutting edge technologies. And obviously, we're going to be thinking by the branding, all these things are going to go into new products and new features. And who wouldn't get excited about that? Of course, you've also got customer service and recommendations, advocacy, things, shared values, all those things. But yeah, it's huge. We can take advantage of the incredible branding Onpassive doing, because as you both had indicated, we are under the umbrella of Onpassive, and we're using their credibility and we're using what they're doing to foster us and our business. And like Red says, back to you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I think, yeah, you guys are killing it. I just saw one contribution I want to read it, because it's coming all the way from Kenya, from I think it's just a contribution. I'm sure, hopefully it adds to all that you've been saying. He says branding is one of the biggest business characteristics worldwide. Please discuss lapel, PIMS badges, and all of those, because in this context, because it would be nice. All right, thank you, Brother Chris, for joining us this evening. So, Andy, I think I'll just leave it open, because Red and Jeffrey have said
they've kind of stolen my thunder. Yeah, I know. That's fine. I've still got something to say though, as Red and Jeffrey well know. I think the when you have good branding, and Red has kind of said this, and so has Jeffrey in a roundabout way, but it builds the credibility of the and the trust of the company, so that when new products do come out, and obviously Red's mentioned about Apple, people flock to buy those new products from that particular brand. And it doesn't necessarily matter what it is, it's just the brand that's created that that mentality, like it's done just with Apple. But if we take this back a step, for what Onpassive's doing for us as affiliates, for the business, if Onpassive is branding us along with the company, we naturally will get that credibility and that trust factor with every website that we have, and this is where for us it's key, because Ash has made it very clear that every single customer comes through an early bird, has to falls within the group, whatever you way, which way you want to put it. So from an affiliate point of view, this is a business that is being done for us in so many different ways, but branding is just another way that is creating customers for us without us having to do anything. And I don't know of another business in the marketplace that will do it to the extent that Onpassive is going to do this for us, and obviously has been doing this for us. So, it kind of sets us apart from all of the competitors in that section, or each section, depending on the product that we got. So yeah, back to you, Comfort.
Thank you. So again, Red, earlier on you talked about the emotional attachment. I don't know, one of you said that, of the people to the brand they love. And I think this just an example here from Yvonne Finn, which I think we can say a few things about. She says, that is why it is so vitally important that we continue to remind our affiliates, our users, to always write our company name like so, Onpassive, all in caps. So what is the importance of respecting the spelling and all of those things to the brand?
Well, to write Onpassive all in capitals is part of our branding. It is what the company have requested we do. Why? Because if everybody within the business, whether they be early birds, users, or even employees of the company, if we all stick to the same rhetoric as far as writing the word Onpassive all in capitals, that means that whenever there is any search done on our company name, then the right information is more likely to get to the right individuals. And it is just an easier way of being able to search information. Now, I am actually going to swing round to a point that Jeffrey brought up, and I thought it was a really, really good point about branding. And whenever you have a strong brand, people want to be associated with it. It is just a natural attraction. It's a natural process that people want to be associated with it. You only have to look at various names of clothing, sportswear, all of these sort of things. People, you know, want to wear named stuff because of the association that they want to have with that brand. Rightly or wrongly, it's a personal choice at the end of the day. But that is when branding is working really, really well, when people are paying whatever price it is to be associated, whether they're using it or wearing it, so that other people can identify them with that brand. It gives this mental awareness to somebody else of that person. If they are using or wearing a certain brand, the impression that somebody else externally has of that person is either elevated or means they've got money or what, you know. It is a brand to distinguish things from other things. Versace, for instance, Prada, Rolex, you know, the names and the lists can go on and on and on, and people want to be associated with that. But I also do believe that people want more than the brand name association. They actually want to be associated with a community of a brand. Now, I personally believe that this is going to be a new attraction to the marketplace. I believe that when people have the opportunity to join not only a brand in a product service point of view, to have that brand that they can use, they know it's superior, they want to use it, they buy it, etc. But if the flip side of that as well is that they are joining a community of like-minded people where it is a relatively safe haven where they can come into it with like-minded people, then I really do believe that this is going to add another string to the bow of the company. Because let's face it, it's a dodgy world out there, isn't it? You know, everyone has to navigate minefields of everything on a daily basis because of the amount of, quite frankly, nasty people out there who are wanting to take advantage of you. Now, wouldn't it be refreshing to not only be able to use products and services from a company that have been branding like Onpassive have extremely well over the last couple of years, but also by being in the community of Onpassive, you are then opening up those golden gates into a very safe and secure community where you can engage with other like-minded people who use the products and services of Onpassive, knowing exactly who they are, and then not hiding behind pseudonyms or other faces that you just don't know who they are. For me, if you can brand and also have community where people feel secure in a safe environment, for me, in the 21st century where we are now, I think that is going to be a big, big draw for many, many people. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Red. So, Jeffrey, I'll just let you, maybe if you had any other thing you wanted to say, then you say that. So we're taking our last round now, and then Red will be the last speaker again, and that'll be it. So, Jeffrey.
Okay, so this is the last chance I get. I better make it a good one, right?
Yeah, yeah. So take your time.
I like what you were saying, and I'm going to swing back around a little bit too about how Onpassive actually does its branding so that people can recognize it more. And I think that, as we probably know, Onpassive has launched a massive marketing campaign, including the renaming the Dubai Metro, right? Projecting its logo all over the Burj Khalifa and the Eye of Dubai in Dubai, the big Ferris wheel. But the Onpassive marketing strategy actually focuses on a couple of things. One is building the brand recognition, but the second one is curiosity, believe it or not. Now, we've talked about this, and we've heard Ash talk about it quite a few times, because he talks about the element of curiosity in marketing. And he's always told us, leave a little bit to the imagination. Don't tell them everything. Make them come in and see. I'm like, okay. And that's what they do with their branding as well, is they slap some brand recognition and curiosity in that whole ball of wax. And to that end, we are prioritizing branding and advertising in ways that create that very strong brand identity. And we're leveraging AI in the marketing efforts as well. And that's how we're doing the entire branding thing. You can't look at branding without seeing that we are an AI company as well. And so we're not just branding our products, we're branding what we are. And everything that Onpassive does demonstrates our commitment to creating that unique identity, Red, that you talked about earlier, for the products and the services that we offer. And some of these examples of the branding strategies that we do and carry out with Onpassive, I mean, they're pretty neat, because they've got everything to do with understanding audience and values, like the marketing and the research that we do to understand what our customers want, what their preferences are, customer analytics, competitor analytics, industry reports, benchmarks, all this stuff that we're researching on it. But there's a couple of things in here that Onpassive does, and I think they do very, very well. And both of you at one point or another has touched on at least one of these today. First of all, creating a visual identity system, right? It includes a logo, but it's not just the logo. It's the color palettes. It's the colors we use. It's the typography. It's how what are the fonts that we use? The imagery that we're using to create all of these things. It all has a central theme, and that resonates with our target audience. We know this because they've done the research. There's also, if you look at how Mr. Mufareh talks, if you look at what the messages are every time they come out with a message, we know that Onpassive develops a tone of voice and a language. That's the precursor, in my opinion, to the culture that we've created. And all of it aligns with the brand's personality and actually resonates, again, with a target audience. We also leverage member and user-generated content. This is huge. Look at this platform you're on. That's one example, right? I mean, we got lots and lots of user-generated content going on and social media, and it all creates a sense of community and authenticity, which is huge because people resonate with that, right? And we're always testing, we're always refining the brand strategy, the messages, everything, the visual identity, and it's all based on the feedback and the performance metrics that they get through their research. And that's how they're doing it. And that's why it is absolutely, in my book, it's phenomenal, right? But the key, I think, is probably to understand that the target audience, what we're looking for in understanding the audience's needs and preferences, and what we're trying to do in developing a brand strategy is that we want to identify with something that they can resonate with or that they can use and they feel good about. And like you had said earlier, again, Red, that when they associate with us, it elevates them somehow, so that when people say, oh wow, you know what, he's an Onpassive, he must be a good guy, he must be really smart, he must be on top of it, dang, he's good looking, you know, those sorts of things. So I guess since this is my last stick here, there's some brand, there's some things that will tell people whether or not our branding has been successful. And I think that every one of the ones that I know, at least looking at Onpassive, just screams success. Obviously, we got brand recognition where people, I mean, they recognize our logo. It's kind of hard not to when it says Onpassive, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The logo and the colors, the consistent messaging. I love that one, because the same message we got 4 or 5 years ago, we're getting today. We got 2 days ago on 360 with you guys. You know, the emotional connection that you and Andy both talked about, Red, that is huge with Onpassive. Users are feeling a very strong emotional connection with us, and that means our brand is, man, it's spot on, and it creates a lot of loyalty, a lot of advocacy, if you will. Differentiation. We're not the same old, same old. Our software is not the same old, same old. Our branding is not the same old, and neither is the company, and that's what people like. We have a positive reputation. I mean, no matter who you look at or what company you look at, you're always going to have a handful of naysayers. So what I'm saying here is nobody's going to be 100%, but we are probably closer to the 97% positive, absolutely great reputation as far as I'm concerned. Revenue growth, I mean, we've seen that. We saw it. Man, it buckled a couple of companies when they tried to get the payment processing. It came in so fast, right? Talent attraction. Think about that. Think about who brought on. I mean, a complete AI team. Man, I mean, that was the last thing they onboarded, right? But you got brainards, PhDs. I mean, you got developers and techs and engineers that have come from all the big people and all the big companies in the world, the ones you recognize, Google, Wells Fargo, all them, right? There's also partnership opportunities. Look at the strategic partnerships we created. Adaptability. Every time we do something, we're adapting. Mr. Mufareh is continually adapting, changing, adding new features, taking this out, putting this in. They aren't sitting back on their laurels at all. And I think that by looking at all these things, then we can see just how far and how great the branding is for Onpassive. And it is absolutely a contributor to our overall growth and our success, and certainly to our future. And I'll stop. Thanks.
Wow. That was over delivery a la manière de Ash Mufareh. Thank you.
You do know that that's an Onpassive theme, right? Over delivery.
Yeah. So let's hear from Mr. Burks right now. That's your last, bro.
Yeah. Again, these guys have covered an awful lot here, but one thing that branding has, you see with branding, and let's take a fashion house for instance, like Gucci. You often find that because the brand has a household name behind it, it can charge higher premiums, higher levels. Now Onpassive is not going to do that, and this is one of the keys to the success that we have or will have, is because ours is value for money. Now, if you've got the branding right, it allows you to add new products, as we said earlier on. So the likes of Gucci are into watches, and then all of a sudden it's shoes. Well, you couldn't be further chalk and cheese apart, could you really? But all of ours are digital products to initially, and eventually we will add in various things. So we could well have that chalk and cheese, but if you've got that branding, not only can you dictate price, and as I said, ours is going to be totally different to mainstream in that regard, purely from the point of view that ours is value for money, and we know that based just upon the first paid product that we have, OConnect. But it allows us to bring in all kind of weird, wonderful products as time goes on, and these products don't necessarily need to be or have anything to do with digital products. They could be physical products, but everything that a household would need. And again, value for money. So I mean, I know we've all kind of covered it, but we've looked at it or discussed it in a different way, if you like. So that's my take on those two. So yes, back to you, Comfort. Thank you.
All right. So thank you. Thanks so much. So Red, again, you have the honor to round it up for us. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. What a great discussion this really has been about branding. And actually, we could talk at length and have more discussions about branding, because we really only have scratched the surface of really what branding is all about, because you can incorporate not only the brand that we are trying to get out there, but then you can bring in marketing and all the rest of it. Now, I firmly believe that we have done a phenomenal job as a company of getting our mark brand out there. People are now recognizing our logo, they're recognizing the Onpassive word with the V in it, and you know, all the rest of it. So you know, that's becoming a much more recognizable word, logo, and the association, which all of us have quite rightly said, with that product theory of behind what the name Onpassive is and the logo. I actually do believe that we haven't seen anything yet. If you listen to our CEO a long time ago, actually, but he does make an allude to it quite often, that we're almost at the moment just treading water, because we don't want to have too many people looking at us at the moment, because we can't sell anything at the moment. This is obviously going to be sorted out within the next few days. And I firmly believe that once everything settles down and we get moving again, then he's going to start rolling his sleeves up and actually get very busy with the marketing and with more branding all over the globe, I believe, because he actually really likes it. And not only does he like it, but he's very good at it. And that is what he really wants to get his teeth into, because that's what he was known for prior to setting up Onpassive. This is what his forte was before he got into Onpassive, was the marketing, was the branding of himself within the businesses that he was working. So I firmly believe that we have not seen anything yet, and I'm extremely excited to see what's going to be happening in the next few months as far as the marketing machine of Onpassive behind it pushing us forward. It's exciting times for sure in Onpassive, but what a great discussion. I've loved it again. Comfort, you come up with some great ones. You really, really do. And I love talking alongside Jeffrey, because we certainly work off each other very well and we're on the same page. Back to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all for always coming. And of course, thank you guys for your contributions to in the chat. I've learned a lot, like anytime they come here and speak, I learn one new thing. So I think that if you are learning something too, you'd like to share it with somebody, because people need to listen to this. We don't just come to sit here and tell it to ourselves. So thank you guys, and see you again soon. Thank you.